Greetings, esteemed viewers. Today, we present to you an engaging video that delves into the realm of pool sanitation systems. This subject poses a significant query for a vast majority of individuals, as they ardently seek an optimal and cost-effective resolution. We cordially invite you to remain with us until the conclusion of this presentation, as we endeavor to equip you with the requisite knowledge to make the most prudent choice in this regard. If you want the cheapest purchase price, you can't beat the chlorine pool. At its entry level, a chlorine sanitizing system is as basic as it gets. If you choose to refrain from purchasing any optional upgrades on the market, the chlorine system starts and stops with you and one of several forms of chlorine. Unless you purchase upgrades, there won't be any mechanical components to dispense the sanitizer for you. On the upside, that also means that you won't need to hire a mechanic to repair anything. The lack of equipment makes this the most affordable system set up. Over time, the savings from the low upfront costs will be reduced by the relatively high cost of ongoing maintenance. Chlorine systems require the most chemicals. While the cost isn't bank-breaking, the cost is higher than the other sanitation systems. Chlorine-caused corrosion damage and bleaching will also be increased. That can include walls, ladders, and any swimming gear and clothing continuously exposed to chlorine. As chlorine levels rise, so does the potential for harmful side effects. Eyes, hair, lungs, nails, and skin can all be damaged. Chlorine burns, dry skin, rashes, and bleached hair can all result. That said, most of the time, this will be minimal and won't be a problem. If swimming in a chlorine pool were truly considered risky, parents probably wouldn't be tossing their kids into the water on hot summer days. It is natural to assume that saltwater pools will taste like the ocean's saltwater. Surprisingly, they don't. Since these pools only have about 1/10 of the salt content of the sea, you won't notice it nearly as much. The salt in these systems generates the minimal amount of chlorine needed to sanitize the pools. You might remember from chemistry class that another name for salt is sodium chloride. This system uses the chloride that is naturally part of salt to create all the chlorine it needs. Saltwater sanitation systems are often praised for their annual savings. Their operating costs are lower in almost every aspect. That is true for most years. However, there is one notable exception. You will need to replace the saltwater generator cells every 3 to 7 years. Saltwater generator cells are expensive, which will likely wipe out a fair chunk of those accumulated savings. Fortunately, most of the time, an even larger chunk of those savings should remain. Ozone sanitation systems have not been as widely adopted as chlorine or saltwater systems, so many people confuse them as being new and expensively prohibitive. While they might be more expensive, it isn't to the point of being prohibitive. Of course, we are speaking in generalities. Many also find it surprising that ozone systems are not new. They've been in production for over 30 years and are used for wastewater treatment. They've had time to work out the kinks and are a great option for reducing their chlorine consumption. After all, if they are effective enough to treat sewer water, they should also be effective enough to help purify your pool water. UV sanitation systems should be considered as a supplementary rather than a primary solution within the realm of water treatment. Conventional sanitation methodologies involve the utilization of stationary filters in conjunction with sanitizing agents that disperse uniformly throughout the pool infrastructure. Should we exclusively depend on the UV system, its efficacy would be confined solely to the water that transits through it. The disinfecting capabilities of UV light would not extend to the sanitization of pool surfaces, nor would it sufficiently penetrate porous materials to eradicate spores that are only susceptible to chemical intervention. Conversely, the implementation of a UV light mechanism yields notable advantages by neutralizing a considerable portion of algae spores, bacteria, and other contaminants during their passage. Notably, the demand for chlorine diminishes significantly when UV sanitation systems are incorporated to complement the treatment process. We appreciate your viewership. Please subscribe, like, and provide feedback to encourage our content creation. Your input helps us improve. Follow us for more engaging updates. For inquiries, contact us anytime. Thank you for your support.